So I just watched this video from this guy. He's a ex-Marine sniper. And he was breaking down the Charlie Kirk shooting and kind of seeing where the bullet came from and looking at the ballistics of all of it. And he seemed to make some pretty good points. And I thought it was pretty informative, but there was a couple things he kind of didn't touch on that I kind of noticed that I wanted to just bring up here. So the first thing is, like, in the footage you can see the hydraulic shock. It's just a couple of frames, but you can kind of see it move from the right hand to left hand side of Charlie's neck. And so I couldn't find great examples, but hopefully these kind of illustrate what I'm talking about here. So in this footage you can see the bullet moving from the left hand screen to the right, and the expansion in the gel with that hydraulic shock as it creates that temporary cavity there. And so that point kind of illustrates like the direction of the bullet. If what I'm seeing in Charlie's footage was what I thought it was, then that kind of illustrates the direction the bullet moved, which kind of further supports that he was hit from the right hand side instead of from the front. And the other part I wanted to bring up is the exit wound. So this is a 308 going through ballistics gel, and this is going the other direction from the right hand of the screen to the left. And they'll kind of pause here on the temporary cavity. So as you can see, this temporary cavity opens up pretty quickly. Like right in here, you can see all this air inside where everything's been forced outward as the bullet is pushing things out of its path. And this is your entrance wound over here. See, pretty small. Here's your exit wound. It's a little more gruesome. But you see how fast this temporary cavity opens up with how fast that bullet's traveling. So, you know, the neck is not very wide. So, you know, it's obviously these blocks are like 16 inches long, I believe, is the standard. And so, you know, the neck is going to be way narrower than this, but you can still see this temporary cavity opening up really quick. Now, there's this footage here which kind of shows an exit wound. I couldn't find one that's real close, but this is an .6, a 30-06 going through a ballistics dummy. And these guys are actually using an armor-piercing round, which it wouldn't deform as much as your standard full metal jacket. But if we look through it here again, you can kind of see how much this cavity opens up there. And but this is an 06, and it is moving through a little more material, and it's hitting some bone there, which could possibly affect how big the exit wound is. But you can just see the exit wound here, just how large that exit wound is with a you know, armor piercing round too. So that's with a steel core. It's not going to expand as much. And back to that 308 footage of it going through the ballistics gel. So the muzzle energy, or the energy of the round at 200 yards here is 1552 for a 308. That's your standard energy, whereas 30-06 is 1731. So it's almost 200 foot-pounds of energy more than a 308. So they're similar, but an 06 would have a little bit more energy and you know, cause a little bit more damage going through. So that's the other thing, is in the footage, his the exit wound, what seems to be an exit wound, because it's definitely too big to be an entrance wound, it definitely doesn't seem like it would be a 30-06. I would imagine a 30-06 would leave a larger exit wound than that, so it's kind of my suspicion that a smaller round went through him, a smaller or slower round, and that all this kind of points towards, and the direction, being hit from the right hand side, which really looks like he was, um, really kind of points towards the fact that that guy they arrested probably didn't shoot him, which makes me wonder what's going on, if he's some sort of patsy or scapegoat or what's going on. And hopefully there's more that comes out about this, but it is a little suspicious kind of watching the footage and everything, and kind of makes you wonder what's going on. But anyway, those are my 2 cents on it, so I just thought I'd make a video about it real quick.